up guys, Chord here, and today you join me on a new video, and I'm going to be doing a little guide on my Shadow Priest here, what you should be going. From what I see, this is just what I do, so take everything with a grain of salt. You will obviously want to play your Shadow Priest differently to me, but this is just what works for me on my Shadow Priest. I haven't been playing Shadow Priest too long, but I believe I have a basic grasp on the basic concepts of Shadow Priest and cooldown management and things like that, and what to use when. So I just want to make a quick video to explain what I do, how I do it, and what DPS is really, how to do DPS as a Shadow Priest in team fighting, which is the main reason why I wanted a Shadow Priest in the first place. But first I'm going to go over the talents that you should be choosing. As I said before, please take this with a grain of salt, due to some of these are personal preference, and also some of these will be switched out for depending on what you're fighting and what comp you are in. So moving on into the talents for level 15 row. This is never really a question for me, so I don't actually know what the other two do, and I don't really go over what they actually do spec-wise, because I haven't actually tried them, because I know Spectral Guise is going to be really, really strong, because this allows you to escape from melees, to give a little bit of breathing room when it comes to actuality when getting away, trying to heal, etc. So moving on to level 30 talents, I believe Body and Soul can be good. However, for some of the uptime, the main reason why this is bad is because with Ariana's Feather it's better due to the fact you get this debuff whenever you apply your power shield. You cannot apply another power shield. That gives you 10 seconds of downtime, where you won't have a speed. Well, it actually gives you only 6 seconds of downtime. However, with the feathers, as you can see here, I can go from having 6 seconds of uptime on speed on the feather, followed by another 6 seconds, so a total of 12 seconds, and then followed by another 5 seconds, and so on, and it keeps going around as the buff is renewing itself. So you get 3 charges of that. That can also help if you're trying to, say when your healer is getting chased by a melee, your healer can run the melee into it, you can grab the fear, and then you can root the melee as well back over there. So moving on to level 45 talents, some people have been saying that Insanity is better. It's more about a casting kind of way of playing your Shadow Priest, I believe. So I haven't really done it, if that makes sense. So I tried Insanity, didn't really like the whole kind of casting, standing still. You do more of this than anything else. I didn't really like that kind of playstyle, so I went more for a kind of, in quotes, RNG or proc oriented spec, which will help more in team fights, which I'll go over in a moment when I'm actually going to be into a BG, hopefully, just to show you what some team fighting will actually be like. I may not survive for long, but you know, we'll see. But Surge of Darkness, basically your Vampire touches and Varien Plea does 12% extra damage, and your next Mind Bite will not consume the damage over time ability, so your dots, and will be instant and deal 50% extra damage. So if you get 3 charges of this, this is a really, really good burst. As you can see here, if I would normally cast a Mind Spike, it would remove the dots. But if I get a proc, then I will just show you. Hopefully I'll get a proc from these. But if I don't, then we'll just carry on with the tutorial until I get a proc. But yeah, that's basically when you get a proc, it won't remove the dot over time spell, which is what some of the main things that you actually want to be doing as a Shadow Priest is multi-dotting as many targets as possible. As you can see here, I'm going to multi-dot as many targets to see how many procs I can get. I'm going to try and keep up as many dots rolling as I can. This is going to a little bit of my rotation, but as you can see here, they do not take away the dots from me using the Mind Blast, and they do pretty substantial damage. Also, I would use Cast Eyes here as well to bounce all of the damage. Imagine this in a team fight. This is going to be lots and lots of damage. This is one of the main reasons why Shadow Priests are seen as one of the best team fighting classes at the moment. Also, it gives you a lot of Mind Spike procs as well, so that's kind of awesome. Anyway, moving on, you can sometimes go with Mind Bender. I'd probably say this is more disc. This is more a disc talent than anything else. I haven't had much experience with disc. I just kind of know the layout and roughly what talents you should go. So if you'd like me to do a disc tutorial, to the best of my ability, then I'll make sure to do that. Just leave me a comment on what you think of this video, and I'll be sure to do that. But now the next row, level 60, is very kind of class dependent on what you're fighting. If you're going to be fighting a lot of melee, you'll go with the root, which is Void Tendrils, which will basically, you have to be near a target, but when you do this, and it will root all the targets in place, so you can then Ariana's Feather, for example, to run away, and then buff yourself, and then carry on doing DPS, and things like that. And I'll go over when you should be moving, and things like that in a separate video, because I just want to cover talents and glyphs in as much detail as I can in this video. However, moving on, if you're going to be choosing Fear, this is useless against warriors because of Berserker Rage, and then you'll be immune to fears. It's only really good against if you're not facing melee and you're not going to be trained a lot, which is, you know, nearly all the time nowadays when it comes to Shadow Priest. But there is some cases where you'll want to take Fear when you want to push out for a, say you're over the healer that has a lot of roots and things like that, like a Druid, for example, CC, where you can actually help you live throughout the burst period, or even just the connection period of two melee attacking you as a Shadow Priest. So I would say save Fear if you are lacking Fear CC, but if not, then definitely go for Void Tendrils. I personally prefer Void Tendrils to nearly every situation when it comes to that. Now, moving on to level 75 talent tree, I haven't really done much playing around with Twisted Fate. I hear it can be good for Disc Priests again, and we're going to go into a BG in a moment as well. I'll actually re-queue and we'll do that in a separate video, because then I'm going with the DPS rotation in a separate video in one BG. But I really like Power Infusion, because firstly, say you want to use it offensively to get your dot pressure up. As you can see, I can really quickly use these 3 targets to get my dots up. And also it helps out with doing a lot of damage with Mind Flay, and also getting your procs and things like that. So that's really good. So that can help with that. I'm not really too sure about Twisted Fate. I haven't really tried it, and I didn't really think Shadowy Inquisitions is that brilliant, just due to the fact that this is a lot stronger. And they also don't really synergize very well with Clarity of Power, which I'll go over. This is a no question. Cascade is something that you just need as a AoE class, and your whole kind of playstyle is kind of around doing AoE damage to a whole raid or a group. So yeah, just make sure to go with Cascade, because you can do a lot of damage. It will bounce twice and bounce around, and it's just basically hilarious on damage. It does so much damage, as you just saw here. It will bounce between every target dummy in the area. So that it bounces over there, then it bounces over here, bounces over here. And if this happens inside a raid, you get a lot of DPS, especially if you have it loaded up with dots as well, as I'll show you in a little bit. Also, moving on to the level 100 tree. I haven't really played around with that much of this, but I looked up really what most Shadow Priests have been running this expansion when it comes to do mind email. I'm trying to make a video. Let me just put my notification window onto quiet time quickly. Apologies for that, guys. I forgot to do it before I started the video. However, I'm going to carry on here. So Clarity of Power, basically this is what you get your a lot of your big damage from. It just makes all your dots and things that you're casting do a lot more damage, and also makes Mind Blast an instant cast, which allows you to be able to get your which goes in with the Glyph, which I'll go over in a minute, which allows you to get a lot more damage as a Shadow Priest, and it also gives your Mind Spike higher damage as well. So all your main abilities that you'll be using to do DPS are boosted by Clarity of Power, hence why it's so good. Okay, so moving on to the glyphs that I use or choose to lose. Some of these are situational, like for example, the only real one that isn't really situational that I always have on is Mind Harvest. The first time you damage your opponent with a Mind Blast, you gain 2 extra orbs, and the cooldown of your Mind Blast is increased by 6 seconds. Now the cooldown isn't that much, because the orbs that you'll get is a lot worth it. So, say for example, I want to open on this target as fast as possible with my burst. So I'm going to use my Mind Blast. I'm actually not out of combat, so I won't get the first target. But if you can theoretically remember that I use Mind Blast, and then it will give me an additional 4, and then I can get my Devouring Plague up, or my Psychic Horror up on a healer if that's the kind of plays we're going for. I will go over what kind of openers and stuff you should be doing in a separate video, so stay tuned for that. However, moving on to the next glyph that I really use is Reflective Shield. This is so good if a melee is training you because they'll basically kill themselves. I sometimes switch this out for either Psychic Horror Glyph or Master Spell Glyph, depending on what I need more, whether I need Restored Fate, which basically instead of gripping your target to you, you go to your target, if that makes sense. So I'll try and show that off at some point in either the next video or the video after. Basically, the Master Spell Glyph just allows you to be able to dispel bubbles and blocks, ice blocks, etc., and things of that nature. So that's kind of everything. And then for mages, I've got Shadow Friends because I like when it affects your mount, like this and or like this, because I have Ashes of Alarm. So I really like the coolness of Ashes when it's in its shadow form. That's just personal preference again, and I like the wings when you get Varian Plague up. So I hope you guys did enjoy this little tutorial on what talents and glyphs you should be going for. I'm going to be also doing another tutorial on your kind of basic rotation in a team fight. What to do, I'll jump into a BG for that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to like it if it helps out a lot, and if you'd like to see more from me, make sure to be subscribed, and I'll see you guys next time. Farewell. If you guys missed episode 6 of my Iron Man challenge series, make sure to hit the right link. If you'd like to see episode 3 of Mineshaft SMP, then make sure to hit the right link, and I'll see you guys next time. Farewell.